This thing, the DeWalt lunchbox planer. Everyone has it, or had it, or is looking to buy it. But it has one major flaw, and you know what it is. So let's say it together. 1, 2, 3. Its anus is in the wrong place. As the work exits the outfeed side, it will inherently run into your drooping dust collection hose and knock it off. It sucks, so let's fix it. I'm going to ultimately use Baltic birch for this project, so in order to preserve precious material, I'll make templates out of 1/4-inch MDF. First, let's get the low-hanging fruit sorted out. I bought a 4-inch coupler and a 45-degree elbow. I'll pair that with a shorty section of flex hose and one side of my mag port connection. Here's a tip for fitting flex hose. If it's being stubborn, a little paste wax on the connection helps it to slide on more easily. With that clamped in place, I'll marry it with that 45-degree elbow. Now I can start taking general measurements for the bracket. By the way, let me know if this project interests you, and if there's enough feedback, I'll make plans, so you won't have to do all this figuring that I had to do. So let me know in the comments. The general plan is going to be to sandwich the bracket around the handle. The handle should be plenty strong, as I figure you use it to lift this lead-laden thing anyway. The lower bracket gets some relief notches to go around the pillars of the handle and the threaded rod that raises and lowers the unit. And I'll take a long-nosed marker and get the curve of the handle. Also note that this sticks out no further behind the machine than this cover. I want to keep it as sleek as I can. I'll do the same with the top bracket and then smooth out those curves with the spindle sander. With it temporarily clamped in place, I'll drill locator holes for the bolts that will secure it to the machine. The next section to build considers thickness, so I'll have to make those two pieces in plywood first. So it's double stick tape, trim away as much waste as possible on the bandsaw, and bring it to size with a pattern bit on the router table. Before removing the template, I'll get those mounting holes drilled. Here's a tip for drilling holes in small parts. Don't take them to final size before you get to drilling holes. Notice the handle I left on the top bracket? If you leave this on the side of a piece that will end up being square, you can just lop it off later with more conventional means. Now I can test the fit with bolts, washers on both ends, and a nut. And here comes what always happens with prototyping: something doesn't fit. A quick hardware store run later, and with 3-inch bolts versus 3.5, I've got it buttoned down. Now I'll clamp a scrap piece representing the extension arm and mark where the eventual hose holders will land. In theory, this should be a 45-degree angle to match up with the 45-degree elbow, so the miter saw is perfect for this cut. And since the extension arm has no curves, I can cut my plywood piece to the measurements of the template and clamp it in place. Some might be thinking, why not make that first bracket longer and have it as one piece? I'm making it in 2 pieces because I need to drop down lower so that the hose holding pieces that I'll be making next sit low enough to get under the hose. Next, I'll cut out the general shape of the hose holding bracket and refine it back and forth at the spindle sander until I have a fit I like. And then mark it for and cut off some material to make it more streamlined. Same process with the pattern bit, but I make 3 of them this time. These will get mounted with pocket holes, so I'll drill those out now. And I'll attach one without glue for now, just to get its location marked. The connecting hose gets snapped on, and then I can mark both the pocket hole locations and a bit to trim off the ends. If the feedback warrants, I'll refine the shape of the extension arm so that all 3 of the hose holding pieces can be identical. Now each edge that makes sense to round over does, and I'll glue and screw the extension arm to the lower bracket. Using the marks I made, I'll attach all 3 of the hose holders and give everything a hit of finish, which I love the look of on the edges of Baltic birch plywood. That dry, I'll take it to final install. It's a compact design for what it needs to do, and best of all, this area is clear. Again, let me know if plans would interest you, and thanks for watching.